Detectives investigating Doug Benefield's death believe Ashley Benefield might be trying to cover up a murder plot years in the making. And when they speak to Doug's attorney, she confirms their suspicions about Ashley's motives.
September 30th, just 3 days after the homicide occurs, there was a hearing scheduled with the family law judge to find out if Doug gets more custody of this child. They were going to go back before this judge, who seemingly did not believe anything Ashley said.
She didn't know what else to do. I think it got to that point where she snapped.
I think the T situation was absolutely Ashley's attempt to frame Doug.
She knew that if she could establish a pattern that Doug had killed his first wife, Renee, then it would be logical that he would do the same thing to her.
When there's only one side of the story, it makes it an incredibly tough job to argue self-defense versus homicide.
To prove their case, detectives will need hard evidence.
They took Doug's shirt from the crime scene and analyzed that shirt for any residue from a bullet or gunpowder.
There was no stippling found on either the clothing or the body of Doug Benefield.
Based on the lack of stippling, they were able to determine that the firearm was potentially 6 feet away from his body.
If Doug were coming at Ashley, you would think they would be much closer than 6 feet.
Combined with Doug's autopsy report, the findings paint a clearer picture of what occurred.
The trajectory of the fatal bullet was from the right side of Doug's chest. This likely indicated that he wasn't coming directly at her in the sense of an attack. He was probably turning around, which then put into question whether or not her use of lethal force was actually necessary in that moment.
We would expect to see X, Y, and Z pieces of evidence to indicate that this was truly self-defense. And everything put together really says this doesn't seem like it.
On November 4th, 2020, Ashley is arrested and charged with second-degree murder.
The media dubbed her the Black Swan. She's a beautiful girl who was a ballerina and now is accused of a heinous crime. And it does affect the case.
Ashley's loved ones rally in her defense, and in the days leading up to the trial, an army of supporters march outside the courthouse.
They had bullhorns out there chanting things like
Ashley, we're just trying to show that she's been telling tales.
Ashley is the only one who knows for certain what happened that night. And so far, she's refused to talk. But in a surprising move, she decides to testify in her own defense.
once Ashley was called to the stand, the entire dynamic of the trial completely shifted. We all kind of knew now it's going to get real.
For the first time since shooting her husband in September 2020, Ashley Benefield breaks her silence. From the stand, she walks the jurors through an emotional account of what happened.
Ashley and her mother were in the process of moving. Doug insisted that he help with the packing.
He wouldn't let me leave. I tried to leave. He stopped me. He was standing in the doorway. He said, "You're f***ing done."
Ashley says that Doug hit her in the face. This is when Ashley ran to her bedroom.
At that point, when Doug crashes through the bedroom door, what alternative is Ashley Benefield left with? She grabs the gun in an effort to defend herself.
She says that she started pointing the gun at Doug and told him to stop moving towards her. And when he didn't listen to those commands, she says that's when she pulled the trigger.
During cross-examination, prosecutors challenged the details of Ashley's story.
You say he slapped you?
I wouldn't know how to classify it. He struck me, he hit me.
Okay, so he's standing there, he turns to like this, and starts moving his arms around. Well, show me, what was he doing?
It was very clear to us that Ashley's testimony on the stand was performance, not truth.
She would go through the motions of wailing and, convulsing and crying, but I never saw a tear. One of my goals was to get the jury to see that.
During my closing, I talked a lot about Ashley's manipulation, that she attempted to manipulate Doug, she attempted to manipulate law enforcement, she attempted to manipulate the courts.
After a week-long trial, the jury retires to deliberate.
In those moments, you feel the weight of your word. You can't help but think, did I do enough? Did we give enough information to this jury?
6 hours later, they return with a verdict.
The defendant is guilty of manslaughter, a lesser included offense.
The jury coming back with manslaughter, I believe, is an attempt to give some recognition that this was a very difficult case. And I think it was probably the best result to come to justice in the end.
Ashley is sentenced to 20 years in prison. In a press conference afterward, Doug's loved ones addressed their feelings about the case.
We're thankful that the lesser charge was allowed. We knew we could achieve that. We proved that Doug Benefield was not in the condition or the person they tried to make him out to be. We know this was traumatic for her also. No one wins in this case.
The outcome in this case has a significant impact on her daughter because now she's without both of her parents.
There's no replacing Doug Benefield. No one with his
It seemed odd that somebody would have potentially broken into this home and then shot him with his own firearm.
And when new evidence emerges, it leads detectives to a killer who'd go to any lengths to exact her revenge.
They would gamble and they would drink and they would have a big time.
There were women involved, obviously. It happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas.
Was very much manipulating and abusing her.
Oh, perfect practice. Here, let me see my anger on. I'm like, don't ever put a gun at anybody. Ever.
It's just before dawn on July 12th, 2016, when dispatchers in Charlotte, North Carolina receive a frantic 911 call.
What happened, ma'am? Shot. I've been shot.
The woman identifies herself as Kimberly Reps and says she and her husband were just attacked by an unidentified man.
Okay, are the people who shot you still in the house? I've got people on the way now.
I wasn't very far from the address, so I waited for another deputy.
We went to the front door, looked for anybody out there, any disturbances, anything out of place or suspicious. Couldn't get anybody to the door at that point.
As they approached the back door of the residence, it was ajar. However, there were no signs of forced entry, and they made their way into the home.
Inside the home, sheriff's deputies find Kimberly on the floor, bleeding.
She had a gunshot to her left shoulder. She was moaning for help.
Kimberly Reps told them there had been an intruder that had caused her to wake up upstairs in her bed where she was lying with her husband, Rob Reps. She had reached up and grabbed the intruder, who then shot her. She said the intruder left. She had slid out of bed. Rob looked like he was lying in bed sleeping, but she could not tell if he was all right or not.
After ensuring Kimberly is in no immediate danger, the deputies secure the rest of the house so paramedics can enter as well.
Myself and another deputy started clearing the upper part of the house. And we noticed on the way up, there was blood on the steps, blood on the wall from Miss Reps. It looked like she was bracing herself on the way down. And then we get up to the top stairs and start room by room. We got to the master bedroom. That's where we found the victim.
Her husband was laying in bed with a gunshot to his head. His head was laying on the pillow.
There was a lot of blood, brain matter, skull pieces on the headboard of the bed.
Rob was still alive, but was struggling. He was agonal breathing, which means that it was ineffective in delivering the appropriate amount of oxygen to his body to survive.
With the shooter nowhere to be found, the deputies immediately call in the waiting paramedics.
Kim was transported to the hospital as well as Robert. Robert was transported to a helipad to be flown to Charlotte, but when he got to the helipad, he was pronounced dead.
You don't know who these people are. You don't know their history. You don't know if they were targeted or if it was random, if somebody was there to go through the house or if they were there to shoot the two victims.
Robert Lene Reps was the youngest of 3 siblings born to Beverly and Erwin Reps.
Rob was born October 6th, 1961. He was born in Detroit, Michigan. They shortly thereafter